What's going on, boys? It's your boy Cerrone Macaroni MMA here, back for another video. And today, you read the thumbnail correctly. We're gonna be talking about guys who are going to be entering their UC rankings soon in their respective weight classes. Guys who are coming for the rankings, like have like two fights or a fight, next in their career where they will definitely get a chance to be in the rankings. I think we're gonna be talking about six guys here, upcoming guys. Who have looked pretty good in the UFC so far, put on good performances, have a lot of potential. And yeah, man, we can get straight into this. And I would say a good amount of these guys are guys I like. I like to like watch. I like watching fight. Um, but yeah, let's get right into it here. The first guy being Ivo Barnowski. Now, yes, Ivo Barnowski's record, you know, the competition he's faced off on the UFC isn't great. Like he fought his first UFC fight was Ivo Aslan, then he fought Austin Lane, and then most recently he fought Junior Tafa. Yes, those guys are kind of cans, but look at his resume so far. Not just in the UFC, in his whole career. Um, he's quite literally finished all of his opponents in round one. Like he has never had a fight go past round one, bro. And I remember watching the Junior Tafa fight, and he just literally the way he hurt Junior Tafa was by a leg kick, and then he just ended up TKOing him, just throwing mud punches. He couldn't defend himself. Boom, got the win. But yeah, I was like that just shows how bad Junior Tafa is won. But like, I mean, it's not really Evil's fault. He's getting these fights. Like he's gonna offer these fights. He's gonna take them. He's gonna do he's gonna do what if he can. Like this what the UFC's giving him. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do his best. And as we've seen so far, he's done pretty good. And he does have a scheduled fight against Alonzo Menafield on UFC 331. I think the fight's on the main card as well. And Alonzo Menafield is a ranked light heavyweight as well. I think he's 15, ranked 15. And this fight literally, like, I made this, this whole video. Like, I kind of made it or before that was like I had this idea before it was that fight was announced. So and I felt like if they're gonna give the opportunity to fight someone, and Alonzo Menafield is not that good. He's kind of a brawler, kind of in a way, to me. And I think Evil's gonna clear through him and definitely sneak into the rankings, be like 15 or 14 in the rankings for sure in light heavyweight. And he's the guy who can say light heavyweight. Light heavyweight right now is trash, and he's definitely a guy who I think can come up, say light heavyweight. He's definitely gonna be a contender. I'm kind of questionable on his chin a little bit. I kind of do want him to, face some adversity in the UFC because, just beating everybody in round one is not entertaining. I mean, it's cool, but it's like, we want to see more from this guy. Yes, he's looked pretty good, but kind of like, I just want to see some adversity. We've seen other guys in the past, other prospects come up, and they've kind of had some tough fights, but then they end up winning or getting a loss in the record, a couple losses, but they end up bouncing back and making the best of it and showing that they can compete at the highest level in their division. But yeah, Ivo Bernowski's definitely got to look out for. Definitely a guy coming from rankings. I mean, he's fighting a ranked guy in his next fight. But even before that, I thought like after the June fight, I was like, oh yeah, give this guy like a guy right outside the rankings or a guy looking to get ranked, and you can put him in the rankings for sure. But yeah, Ivo Bernowski is definitely a guy to watch out for in lightweight. The next guy we gotta have here is Damian Pinas, Baba Yaga. Now, Damian Pinas on this list so far of guys I have here, out of six guys, he is the guy with the most power. This dude is incredibly dangerous. Yes, he's only had two fights in the UFC, okay. But I'm telling you, he's going to shake up the middleweight division. He's going to show people how dangerous he really is, bro. And his only loss is as you can see right here, is a disqualification because he illegally kicked somebody like on the regional scene. That's his only loss, literally his only loss. And he was probably winning the fight too, like genuinely. But like all of his wins are by finish, bro. First fight in the UFC against West Schultz. I mean, even before that on the Contender Series, he looked really good. Straight Victor Costa. And then he fought West Schultz on the Moreno Cavanaugh card. I watched that card. That was really good. I mean, he knocked Schultz down a couple of times. I think he won. He wanted him to get back up, and after that, Schultz couldn't get back up, and then he just called the fight. It was over. And then recently on UFC 329 when he fought Cesar Almeida, like a lot of people were thinking Cesar Almeida was gonna get like was gonna get Damian Peanuts a lot of trouble in that fight, but he ended up pulling through. Like it was kind of a weird matchup a little because one, Cesar Almeida is a kickboxer, former kickboxer, so he has a style of kickboxing in his MMA fighting style. And Damian Peanuts is like Damian Peanuts really he tries to load up and look for the right moment to land one shot, knock you off your feet, kind of kind of wobble you, and then he'll come in there, finish off a bunch of other punches. Like this guy is so dangerous. Like he destroys his armada basically. He literally was like finding a punch, boom, got him, done. And recently, just today, right before I start recording this, he has a fight announced for UFC 332 against Andrei Polyaev. And I'm not I don't think that's the best matchmaking. I think probably give him someone better because he beat Cesar Almeida, who's like, I mean, Polyaev is kind of worse than Almeida, so maybe get like the UFC could have done better and give him a more skilled middleweight. But either way, it's like he's still gonna win this fight. He's still gonna like be in the ring. Like hit this fight after Polyaev. Maybe he could fight one more guy who's unranked or coming for like near the rankings or right after the rankings. But other than that, his next, within his next two fights, he should be fighting someone ranked or being the rankings for sure. This dude's really good at what he does. Next guy we have on here is gonna be Marwan Rahiki, and this dude is this is another guy like all these guys I'm talking about here are like just the power on them specific. Like I mean, not all of them, but majority of these guys like they just have this knockout power. The finishing ability on them is insane. They just know what they're doing here. And Marwan Rahiki is one of those guys who just is he's a monster. Um, Literally, if you want to know how good this guy is, you just watch the Harry Hardwick fight, and I'm pretty sure he broke Harry Hardwick's jaw in that fight, and it was just like it was crazy. Yes, on Contender Series, he looked, like that fight was kind of up and down against Anais Manova, because he got knocked down as well, but then he had a comeback win, finished them, boom. Let's forget about that because he's a way improved fighter now. So that's why against Ali Schmidt, he's destroyed Ali Schmidt. Like it was like that fight was so one sided. I was like, Marmari's gonna kill this guy. And Reiki does have a fight scheduled against Tommy McMillan on the UFC No Shade card, which is gonna be a banger fight. Like this fight, I really think Marmari's really gonna destroy Tommy McMillan in terms of like the punching because Tommy McMillan's a very aggressive guy, but Marmari's a very he's not gonna rush and he's gonna really play his cards right. Kind of Damien Peanuts in a way where Damien Peanuts kind of waits for a moment to throw that strike, like through someone's guard or like kind of catch them off guard, get find somewhere that that's like not blocked off and land a clean shot right on them, and that's what Peanuts does. That's what Ricky does. In this fight, we were talking about. I don't think they're gonna do that to McMillan, like find a clean shot to knock him down. But I think just piece him up too much. McMillan's not gonna have a option. Probably gonna resort to wrestling. But yeah, Moriki's definitely a guy to watch out for. Very dangerous. And I do think, if he beats Tommy Millen, which I'm pretty confident in that pick, if I'm beating Tommy Millen, if he beats Tommy Millen, then his next fight or the fight after that, with like same with Pinas, within his next two fights, he should be fighting a ranked opponent, sneaking to the rankings, and we don't know the future, but I think this guy's definitely gonna be a guy to watch out for. Maybe it's in the top 10 of his division. You don't know, you never know, man. Anyways, we can move on to the next prospect. That being Bang, one of my favorite UFC prospects. Yes, he only has one fight in the UFC so far, but this dude, Emmanuel Rodriguez, is dangerous, bro. If you watch The Ultimate Fighter, I mean, not many people really did watch Ultimate Fighter, kind of because it was like it's kind of boring now. It's kind of trash. But there are a couple gems in Ultimate Fighter still that come out every year, like two guys specifically. Emmanuel Rodriguez is one of them. This dude, in the series, he looked nice. Okay, cool. I'm talking about his Kevin Borjas fight. Rodriguez versus Kevin Borjas was a very good fight, simply because those two guys are so quick. They're like lightning quick, so fast. And I remember, I'll go back to the Ultimate Fighter fight he had against Joseph Morales, who's a really good grappler. I mean, he kind of just like he had a hard time with the grappling, with the the size difference really. But I'm telling you, this dude, Rodriguez is really good. Like it's just his speed, really. That's the main thing about him is really good. Like, and he has a lot of power to him as well. He's a lot of knockout power to him, but like for him to knock you out, he's really gonna, kind of slowly but surely get there. But he's definitely a guy, to watch out for. He's really good. I do think. I mean, his next fight, he's fighting out in Korea on UC Noche as well. It's something where he's fighting Noche card. To me, I think that's not a one-sided fight because Adam Corey is another pretty good boxer, but America's boxing is like so it's really good. It's way better than Adam Corey in my opinion. Adam Corey is a shaky guy to really great, but America is definitely a guy I would say that could sneak into the rankings. Maybe late this year, like he could fight like depending on how his fight goes, Adam Corey, he could definitely fight um within the end of the year or maybe earlier next year and get into the rankings and make a bigger name from something he already has because I would say his name isn't the biggest right now in terms of like upcoming guys upcoming guys in the flyweight division. He's a pretty small guy. He's 5'4", but like that doesn't matter, bro. In some cases it might matter, but like really this dude can contend with the best. And I think he struggles with like his grappling, like the grappling a little bit. When like someone's like really good on the ground, he might struggle with that a little bit because Justin Rouse is a good grappler, so he could struggle with that a little bit. But I think overall he'll do a pretty good job. And he's probably been training over time and trying to really like better himself at defending takedowns and even implementing some things on the ground he can do in his fights as well. But this guy's a very dangerous boxer. His boxing style is elite. Let's move on to the next guy. That being Ty Miller. Ty Thriller Miller, who just came off a nasty win, a TKO win against Billy Ray Goff. Another guy I like. Man, Ty Miller is definitely a guy that I'm thinking like I don't want to overrate any of these guys too much, but like the only guys you can really like glaze, I think, in my opinion, are Damian Pinas and the guy who's after Ty Miller. I'm gonna talk about after him next. But I think, Ty Miller to me, I do think eventually all these guys will probably like, lose their zero or like, get another loss in the UFC. But Ty Miller is undefeated right now. He's knocked out both his guys in the UFC. He fought Adam Fuga in his first fight, destroyed him. That was an easy one from. And then he recently just beat up Billy Ray Goff. Like he beat up Billy Ray Goff in that fight. Literally he didn't look good at all. Like he looked so bad, and he's getting destroyed. Like literally. Ty Miller had like over 100 strikes in that fight. Billy Ray Goff was trying to use his wrestling in that fight. He couldn't. Like I think it was because how big Tyler Miller. Like Ty Miller is like 6'2", welterweight. Um, really like long range. He's pretty good at fighting at distance. That's like his like key like strength in his fighting style. If like yeah, because like most of the guys in welterweight are not like gonna be around taller than him or maybe around his height, but like he's pretty good at keeping his distance with guys, just striking them that range, pacing them up slowly but surely, and then finishing a fight. And now the Adam Fuga fight, he destroyed him because Adam Fuga sucks. But like Billy Goff, he really just like focused on like keeping his distance because Billy Goff is a wrestler in a way. He uses wrestling. He's trying to take him down a lot, and Billy Goff couldn't even take him down because how long he is. This dude's long, lanky guy. I'm kind of curious about his chin because of a lot of long and lanky fighters in the UFC. You're kind of questionable about their chin and if they get knocked down pretty easily. They get knocked down by the easiest like strikes, like anything really. But Ty Miller still got to watch out for. Hopefully he fights pretty soon because he really took no damage in the Billy Ray Goff fight. He just cruised through him. Like that was like a layup fight from him. So just give him somebody high on welterweight. I think like again, I think maybe with Ty Miller is a little bit different. Maybe he needs like more than 2 fights to really showcase if he really belongs in the welterweight rankings. But I definitely think the next guy they give him should be a guy who's not a vet, a seasoned fighter in the UFC, not a veteran, who's been in the UFC for a couple years and fought a good amount of competition. And I think Ty Miller should be fighting that guy as his next opponent, or fighting a guy similar to that. Because there are Gamma guys who have a lot of experience who have been in the UFC. I mean, he could fight with, like, I don't know, but there are a lot of guys he could fight. Honestly, you know what? I could see him fighting Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, but at the same time, it's like, because Wonderboy is supposed to have his last fight. Like he's saying he wants to fight in his last fight in the MSG in November, so that could happen. But at the same time, Tamar could fight really many like long time welterweight in the UFC. So we'll see. This guy's really good. And now for our last and final guy I'm gonna talk about here, who's my second favorite guy in here. We're talking about Murtazali Magomedov. Oh my God. Yes, this dude's only had one fight, but I'm telling you, bro, this is not even Glees, but this is Jin. I feel like this is common knowledge. When you see Magomedov usually in somebody's name, and they're maybe like new to the UFC, they don't really have that many fights, but like they still like undefeated and they still have a bunch of finishes. You really need to look out for them. Like you should already know how good this guy is just off his last name, but let's break him down. All his fights have been finishes. He's more of a grappler than he is like a guy in the striking range, kind of. But literally every fight he's has been a finish. Only has one fight in the UFC. He fought Melsik Bagdasaryan. It was kind of trash now, but literally, I was breaking down the fight because it was insane how he like what he did. So basically, Melsik Bagdasaryan came in there aggressive, starts like instantly got in his face, cornering him in the fence. He like kind of hit him with a couple of jabs that kind of like not didn't wow him, but he was trying to get out the way. Then if I went to the ground, Melsik was trying to maybe get like a maybe he was trying to just finish him on the ground because I don't think he knocked him down that fight, but he kind of like he was really just trying to get him on the ground, maybe finish him with like a bunch of hammer fists, something like that. But then Magomedov used a crazy twister submission. Like at first when you saw him on the ground with when you saw Murtazali and Magomedov on the ground with Melsik Bagdasaryan, it's kinda like what's he about to do? Is he about to, go for a submission or kind of just like control him a little bit? No, he went for a Scottish twister. A twister, bro. And recently, in 330, there's another guy who did a twister. It was Charles Johnson did a Scottish twister, and people were saying, "Oh, that's the first Scottish twister in UFC history." No, Mirzai Magomedov did the first UFC Scottish twister, and it was nasty work. He put him, bro, because Muscle Badasarian he got overconfident in the fight and just submitted him. I think this guy, Mirzai Magomedov, is a really good grappler. He's a pretty high IQ fighter. I mean, I would say most Dagestani fighters are pretty smart in terms of like, oh, like when they go for takedowns. Like I just think it was Islam. Islam has a pretty good fight IQ. Like he knows what he's doing. Especially when he's on the ground with somebody, controlling them, going for takedowns and open mat, maybe looking for the right submission, good angles. Like there's plenty of Dagestani guys, even though they get a lot of hate for how they fight. A lot of them are pretty smart in the ways they get their takedowns, or maybe with like how they implement their striking and then go for a takedown. Like the way they combo the way they like implement the takedowns into the striking and use that as a full combo. It's really good. And Magomedov, we didn't really get to see too much of that, but he's definitely a guy who I could see getting to like a level, maybe not a belt, because I don't want to overrate him too much and say, oh, he's definitely gonna win the featherweight belt in the future because he's a featherweight. But like, no, I generally think this dude's gonna be a problem. I do think he's gonna go on a crazy win streak. I do think he's gonna go on a crazy win streak. Probably end up losing a 0 in the UFC. But Mirzai Magomedov, to me, I think he should fight on the UFC 333 Abu Dhabi card. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, he's from around that area. He's near that area, Middle East. And I don't know what to really put him up against. You can put him against a lot of guys in featherweight. Maybe another upcoming guy. That'd be a good prospect versus prospect fight. Really good fight. I mean, yeah, but this guy, to me, probably only behind Damian Pinas, is the one guy I would say who has the biggest, like he has the most potential out of everybody else besides Pinas. But yeah, man. Anyways, boys, that's gonna be the end of the video. I had a lot of fun talking about these prospects. I'm excited to see their next fight, see how their career plays out in the UFC. That's gonna be it for the video. If you enjoy the content, like and subscribe. And yeah, boys, I'll see you.